Have you figured out your niche? Are you helping adding value to other people's lives? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Munira's Musings with your host, co-author of Conversations with Top Real Estate Investors Volume 3, Munira Zahabi.
Greetings from Chicagoland. This is Munira. Welcome to another show, another episode of Munira's Musings. I am your host, Munira Zahabi, with Rob Garcia from San Diego. Hi, Rob. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Munira. Thank you so much for this interview. I'm excited.
I am too. I like San Diego. I love San Diego. Thank you so much for watching. We are live. I'm your host, Munira Zahabi. A little bit about myself and what I do. I'm the niche navigator, and I help coaches and business entrepreneurs find their niche and markets to it. My show is Munira's Musings, and I find people who have already found their niche to come and talk to us about their niche, what they do. And this is my way of finding them, exposing them, and promoting them, because there's somebody out there who needs you. So thank you so much for being on my show. Rob Garcia, thank you so much for being here. But Rob is a veteran. He is also a PhD, so I should call you Dr. Garcia. And he is a speaker, a veteran, a volunteer, and a leader. Thank you so much for being here, Rob. I know it's early in Diego, but we got to do what we got to do, right?
Hey, when I heard it was going to be your show, I got up early. It was worth it.
Okay, thank you so much. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Rob.
Absolutely. I'm a 17-year Air Force veteran. I'm still in. I just got back from the Middle East after doing 6 months. I'm an 8-time author and speaker and business strategist primarily, and I also own Shift Advanced Life Design magazine, which has been out for about 3 years. So I interview high performers, and then I deconstruct their process and find out why they're experts.
Okay. So thank you so much for being in the Army, and thank you for your service. That's the first thing. Why the service? Why did you join the Army?
I joined the Air Force because I was very poor, and I had a lot of problems with my family with drugs and alcohol. They were using a lot of drugs and alcohol, and so I knew I wanted to go to school and better myself, and so military service was the best fit for me.
Okay. And now that you are an author, what do you write about?
I write about, my newest book is about speed learning, and so I teach people how to learn things very, very fast. So this is my new book, The Next Level Supercharged. And so I want to write a book for business owners or for anyone that wants to learn how to do new skills very, very fast. So I have 16 ways of learning to do things, anything faster. I teach how to diagram. I interviewed 5 celebrities, and I have interactive worksheets as well to help you in your learning. And the reviews for this book have been very good.
Awesome. Okay, so you have 8 books out. Mm-hmm. This is your latest book. Tell us a little bit about the other books you've written.
My first book was a biography I wrote about myself, just to learn the publishing process. And then I wrote about teen success, so how teenagers can find success even if they have bad family lives like I did. I wrote one about ketogenic dieting, one about charter schools, and then a couple of them on fast learning, which is what this one's about, is fast learning.
Okay. And now you have a publishing company?
No, I self-publish. And so I just take, one of the things I do as a business strategist, people hire me and I help them to write and publish their books. There's a process to it. One of the things I did, I was able to write and publish a book, a paperback book, in 6 hours. And so I show them the process when they hire me.
Okay, so from military to PhD, give us that navigate me and help me get to there.
Okay. Well, I was an active duty military, so full time for 5 years, and then I joined the reserves, which is much less commitment. So it's 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer. So I was able to go to school and had the time to balance it. The PhD program was very challenging, but I hung in there, and I found out some things about myself. I found out that you don't have to be the smartest person ever to finish any goal really in business or in life. You just have to be persistent and never quit. Never quit. And there were people that were far smarter than I was and had more money, and they gave up very quickly. But I was persistent, and I hung in there even through the tough times, and I made it through in 6.5 years.
Wow. So did you have to go through, so I know I have a master's degree as well, but did you go through bachelor's, master's, and then PhD, or did you just?
Yes, I finished my bachelor's degree by the time I was, I want to say 24 in the military. And then immediately when I got out and became a civilian, I took 3 years off and I got my master's degree. And congratulations on getting yours. That's a huge achievement.
Thank you.
And then I took maybe a year off and then I jumped in. So I started a PhD at 30 and I was very young in my program. There were people in their 50s and 60s that were in the program. And I finished by 37. And now I teach people how to get their PhDs and give them the confidence and the mindset to get through the program.
But it's all up here, right? It's all about,
absolutely.
It's right here, 6 inches between your ears. That's what they say.
No, you're right. And just like anything, even especially in business and entrepreneurship, all your success starts up here. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's you. Fix yourself first and everything will be fine.
So you went through that process. Now you have a magazine?
Yes. So I started Shift Advanced Life Design magazine 3 years ago, and I've interviewed in that time. Now I want you to understand something for the audience is that I didn't have any experience. I didn't have a journalism degree. I had a little bit of a writing background, but I didn't know how to do any of this. I didn't know how to run a magazine. And so I just, like with everything I do with speed learning, I figured out the process. I bought some actual magazines and looked at the way the layouts were and the articles and stuff. And then I figured out the process for how a magazine is hosted online, because there are free sites that'll host your magazine called Jumag is the one I use. And then there's Joomla and Issue. And there's a couple of them where you can create your own magazine for free. And so once I figured this out, I just started writing, turning in PDFs, and then interviewing Navy SEALs, Delta Force, Green Berets, seven-figure coaches, authors, all these people. And it just came together and it's been going strong since.
Wow. Okay. So is this your niche or are you looking for something else?
No, this is my niche. And I'm glad that that we're talking about this, because I have some very good tips for your audience when they're looking to find their niche, because I didn't find mine for years and I was very unprofitable for years. And then once I figured out exactly, do you ever talk about client avatars and who your perfect customer is? I'm just curious.
Yes.
Yeah. Once I made that change, and I'll tell you, I took a course by this girl I know named Desislava Dobriva, the queen of branding. Everyone needs to take that course, because for years I wasn't making enough money. I was making very little in my businesses and I didn't understand why. And then it hit me. Once I took this course, I understood. I'm a veteran, therefore my audience is veterans. And once I tied in my branding, my logo, my message, and my teaching all together, I got very popular in the veteran community. And that's when I realized I was onto something. And then people started hiring me, and I started getting featured a lot more and asked to go speak and all this different stuff. But once you figure out who your perfect client is, and once you figure out who your audience is, this is what I always suggest to people. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to tell your audience right now in this interview, first time ever, some stuff I've never told anyone in business, some tips. So start off with a very, very big group. Big group can be veteran, it can be women, it can be ethnic groups, it can be entrepreneurs, millennials, but that's your big group, okay? So that's the start of your niche. Then you get into your subgroup. So under that, once you have that category, then you get your subgroup. And my subgroup, believe it or not, this is part of Client Avatar, veteran male business owners age 28 to about 52 most have beards, and most like guns. And once you figure that out, everything changes. Your marketing changes. You can speak their language. You can isolate them and find them. But once you identify your niche and your client avatar, you are good to go and you're going to be successful.
You know, I teach that in my course because, you know, first of all, you have to get clear, and then you find your audience, because there's so many things we can do. And so I have a process where people go through it and then they have to find their avatar. And thank you so much for sharing that.
No,
it is true.
Yeah, I think you're onto something, and I think you're teaching it perfectly.
Well, the thing is, if you know, I started and I made the mistake of not finding the right people, right? I didn't look for the right client because I wanted to help everybody.
Right.
True, you can help everybody. It's a collective term. It's people. Let's go help people. However, if you are not laser focused on your avatar, you are going to stumble a lot. So once you can help. Once you have your client, then people will come find you and say, hey, it's not your correct person, but can you help this person? That's fine. But before and when you start your business, you have to have that laser focus on your avatar. Let me ask you this. Did you learn about this when you went through this course? And if you can later, can you share the person's name?
I took the name of the person that did the course.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a very nice name. So I forgot.
Okay. Yeah. I know that what I call the square of success that I just defined. I took the course, but the square of success is something I developed on my own after taking the training. And I realized those 4 components were what I did when I got very popular and started getting way more clients. So it's branding plus logo plus message plus teaching. And that's what I call the square of success. And then that course is Desislava Dobriva, the queen of branding. She's very easy to find. Just Google her. She lives in, she used to live, I want to say, in Bulgaria or Hungary. And then now she lives in Thailand. She's doing very well for herself. Now, I'm going to show you something. After I figured out my niche and my client avatar, and I talked about, I changed my business. And you're right. You have to laser focus on whoever your client avatar is. And then the things I sell now, I sell for veterans. And so I create products that appeal to veterans. So this is my newest ebook called The Veteran Entrepreneur. And as you can see, the colors are very veteran-like. I have camouflage. And so it's just a business ebook, but it appeals to veterans. And so once you find your audience, you create products that appeal to them. And that's why they buy from you.
And that's the idea. It's not about you, it's about them, right?
Oh, you nailed it. Yes. One thing I say, and I love this, and one of the reasons I was poor for many years in business was because I was making products that I thought were cool, but I didn't ever find out if my audience thought they were cool. So once I started making stuff for my audience and taking polls and doing market research and figure out what they wanted, then I started to sell. I wrote probably 15 ebooks with 0 sales because I was making things I liked. You don't do that.
Okay, so you took polls and you started asking questions. So is that how you found what they wanted, and where did you have them take polls? Was it just Facebook or?
There are a few ways you can do it. The way that I did it is I took a poll in Facebook groups, and then I took a poll in my main Facebook feed. And here's where it gets interesting, Munira, is that you can give them choices of the 3 projects you want to do, and they'll choose whichever one. And no matter which one it is, you win. So you can actually guide the market into telling you to create a product to sell them, a product you want to make. And so I give them 3 choices of something I want to create, and then they pick one, and then I put it out. And guess what? Here's a tip. Every person that takes that poll and votes on the winning choice, they're a warm lead. So now you write down their names after the poll, and then a week, 2 weeks later, when the product comes out, you hit them up personally and say, hey, I got this done. I'd love to offer you a 10% discount. And guess what? My sale rate by doing this is about 90%.
Awesome tips. I love the fact you're just sharing these tips with me, because even I need this pep talk, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure people watching are going to use these tips because everybody out there is a struggle market. some people are just got it easy. Some people do have it easy, but not everybody. Everybody is looking for the same warm lead, and we need that. So thank you so much. So what now? What are you doing now?
Right now, I have an event in San Diego next week with Manny Wolf, where I teach people how to get media appearances. Manny Wolf teaches the storytelling, and then I teach them how to get on local news, newspapers, podcasts, all this stuff, appearances, like we're doing now. This is a media appearance. So I'm doing that. I'm doing a new issue of Shift Advanced Life Design magazine pretty soon, and then I'm launching a program in about 3 weeks, teaching people how to be celebrity experts in their industry. There's an actual strategy to it, and I'm going to teach a course on it. I'm really excited about it because it's all new content. Because Munira, we're new friends, so you haven't been around long enough to see my actual progression. But in the last 5 weeks, my business has quintupled. I spoke at Mark Cuban's event in San Diego on stage. I released my ebook and I sold out the pre-sale in 1 day. Like, all this stuff has happened, and I got very, very popular in those 5 weeks because of the tactics that I'm going to teach people about being a celebrity. So I stopped marketing myself as an expert. I started marketing myself as a celebrity that's an expert, and that changed everything.
Okay, so you took it up a notch.
Oh yeah, I took it up a giant notch. I moved into my dream apartment in San Diego 12 days ago. I've literally, this is a new place that I'm living in, and it's incredible. Open the window. So this is my view every day, and I live in this amazing loft. I love it, and so my life is very good right now because I was able to do better in business because I changed my strategy.
I love the fact that you are there, but you're not around the sea. So are you by the sea?
No, I'm inland. I'm by North Park, so right in the middle of San Diego.
I love San Diego because of the mountains and the sea right there. It's heaven on earth for me. So one day I will move there one day. But, right now it's cold Chicago, but that's okay. That's another story for another day. But, I love the fact that you're sharing these tips. So are you talking about, you're not a celebrity in the sense that you're not like a movie star or a politician or something, celebrity like that. However, you're a celebrity in your own thing. Do you change it up here? We're talking about mindset now.
Right. And I like that you brought up that question, because you're right. There are different levels of celebrity. And when we hear the word, we assume that it means like TV, movie star, Hollywood, stuff like that. But what I've done, I've tapped into the lowest rung of celebrity in my industry. So all of a sudden, if you Google Rob the Warrior Strategist, which is my brand, I show up quite a bit on the first page with my videos and my media appearances, all this stuff. And I have something like 12 interviews waiting anytime I want to take them. So it's a matter of popularity. And that is the big deal. It's like, you remember when you were in school and there were always the popular kids that everybody loved? That is what I help create in your industry. I help you become the popular kid. And when you're the popular kid, you can charge more. You don't have to chase clients. You don't have to do Facebook ads. And people hit you up all day long to collaborate with you, to work with you, whatever. And there are literal strategies I did in the last 5 weeks that worked. And that's what I'm going to be teaching people next.
So do you come up with these own ideas yourself, or do you have a mentor that helps you?
No, this was all me. I just, I looked at the process and I reverse engineered everything that happened in the last 5 weeks and my exact actions. I'm going to show you something real quick. So I actually made a chart, and I've given lectures on this at business meetings, but this is a chart of 2 different things that happen in my life. These are all events, and don't expect to read it. These are initials, but basically this is the expert path, what I call expert quotient. This is the celebrity path, what I call celebrity quotient. And these are the events that happened from October 1st to October 31st. And certain things really, really made it rise, like getting at Mark Cuban's event was a giant spike. So this is called EQ, this is CQ. When they meet, you get celebrity expert quotient, which is the sweet spot. So what that means in plain English is when people recognize you for what you do. Because if you're an expert, they kind of know what you do. When you're a celebrity, they recognize you. When you combine the two, you're recognized for what you do. And that's when you hit the sweet spot. And that's when you are popular and known for what you do. And since that happened to me, it's night and day. I get 30 messages a day, probably 15 to 30 every single day of people wanting to work with me, hire me, whatever. And I want it for every entrepreneur, which is why I do a Facebook Live almost every day, teaching these strategies and showing how to step out from the shadows and sell and get popular.
I love your enthusiasm. I love the fact that you're so energetic about this, because most people are not, right? They are, oh, it's going to happen. I meet people like that all the time. Yeah. I love the energy that you have. So I'm going to have it rub on me as well, because you need to be pumped up, just like a celebrity, the music, and then you get on stage, it's up there. And so people are clapping. I mean, I see that right now when you're talking, that to me is the stage, right? So how do people find you?
My main website is yournextlevelofsuccess.com. And then you can find Rob the Warrior Strategist on Facebook. I have a business page. And then I have a Shift Advanced Life Design Magazine page as well on Facebook. So those are the main ways.
Okay. So you do a Facebook Live, and then if they friend you, they can see this?
Yeah, I do a Facebook Live almost every morning at 7:30 p.m. PST called the Experts Lounge. It'd be 9:30 your time, I believe. And the Experts Lounge, it's interesting because I call it that because it's like a networking group, and you're going to intermingle with millionaires, with special forces, with business owners. I get all kinds of random people in my network that are all different backgrounds and income levels. It's great. And I make introductions and I promote people, but I also teach important stuff. So there are times when I've done an Experts Lounge that lasted an hour because I was teaching a lesson from front to back. I also give out at least 2 freebies every single time. So it's a great time. If you want business training, check out the Experts Lounge.
There you go, folks. This man is an awesome veteran. He's a speaker, he's a strategist, and I love the fact that you're sharing all these tips with us. We have acquired so much, but the one thing that I took away is it's up here. You want something to happen, make the effort up here. Believe in yourself and then go for it. Because once you change it up here, things will happen, right? I love your niche. I love the fact that you're sharing. I'm going to be on one of your calls one day. Or I'll take the recording, whichever comes first. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I really do. I don't know what else to say, but except that thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Munira, for your time, and I'm really glad I got to be on the show, and hopefully your viewers will take some valuable tips from this.
Yes, I hope so. So there you go, people. Find Robert Garcia. Find him. He's out there. He share his web page down there too, and then go look him up because we all need these strategies in our life. You never know what you're going to listen to that's going to change your life. Until then, thank you, over and out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Munira's Musings with your host, Munira Zahabi. If you enjoyed our show, please share and subscribe to this channel. And for more content, please join our Facebook group called Navigate to Your Niche.